I've been forced to drop out of university because I simply can't afford to keep studying while keeping up with the rising cost of living.
The job market right now is shit!
The job market is just so difficult.
It's a pretty big blow to the mental health. Been searching for so long. What am I doing wrong?
I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
Has it just become normal to feel poor in Australia? I went to Woolies today to buy some makeup because I wanted to save money and Mecca and stuff is a ripoff. Why am I poor all of a sudden? Why is this so freaking expensive? And then I'm like, okay, how long would it take me to work to be able to afford this?
Jeff Bezos' estimated $50 million wedding has been hugely controversial for the people.
I cannot believe that it has come to this point where it's just so dystopian altogether. Certain people have an excessive amount of wealth. They would just die and nothing would face. You can still feed generations of your family, your kids comfortably, but there are everyday people who are struggling to buy a carton of eggs. Not too sure about you guys, but in Australia, a box of eggs is $9. It used to be $3.50. And then it goes to $4.50. Now it's double the amount, and not all the time we have eggs. So all of a sudden, the most basic food item, it's considered a luxury. It is so crazy. It's so crazy to me, and I think at this point, just to have your life, not saying anything extravagant, just to have your life, meaning bus money, travel, transportations between that here and there, everyday food, 3 meals a day, all of a sudden, it's sort of hard to achieve these days. And I wish that was never become a reality, but I think not only me, we in this household, we have certain cut downs. And I know that there's many other families and households out there are doing a lot harder. They wouldn't be able to pay for rent. They wouldn't be able to sustain their life. Maybe they have to sell their car, maybe they have to downsize. I think what we have sacrificed so far, so me and my husband, we are a dual income household with no kids. If we have a kid right now, I cannot fathom how much struggle we would have financially just to raise the kid well. Luckily, we're in Australia and we have a really good public healthcare system, but I've done my research. Just to have the baby with a public healthcare system in a public hospital, it will still cost you around $4,000 to cover for certain bills, certain sort of scans, certain sort of medications and everything. The supplement and medications, not the hard part. It's the fact that when you go to a GP or to an OB or to do certain scans, they're not covered. They're not covered fully, or they're not covered. And really depends on the health of mums and kids, depending on how many you need to go during your pregnancy. Saying you go one per term, then about 3-4 times, that's pretty normal. But say if you need to monitor the baby and mums a lot more excessively, then yeah, that will cost not just $4,000. It can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anyone who has freezings, I really want to do egg freezing as well, but that is such a luxury these days, and considering multiple sort of priorities, I was like, no, can't do. It costs about $10,000 as a basic, very minimum, $10,000. And there's no guaranteed of all of those thawed egg at the end of the day will be in function. There's always a risk like everything else, but I think that's also a cost that these days people have to consider, whether to have the kids or prepare to have the kids. Everything is a cost, and it is very sad, but I watched this video the other day with ABC, a young couples, very similar to us, dual household income, and they haven't got kids yet, and they have said that it's really sad, but we've decided not to have kids because we can't afford them. So all of a sudden, having children, reproduce, it's now a financial burden because it will put people to collapse. It will put families into demise. And I'm experiencing it firsthand. You know, having kids, having a third person or fourth person these days is very far forward thinking, because I know that people are not affording their coffee. People are not having their gym memberships anymore. People are not having their eat outs or take outs or whatever. Everything is Aldi, everything is lesser, everything is well budget, and I feel for everyone because we're on the same boat. It's just a bit crazy that we've come to this point. And you know, every single day I think about it, especially the last couple of weeks where Israel, Iran, they're bombing each other, and the kids in Gaza and Palestine. How it's just so heartbreaking that we'll come to this world where there was a small portion of people who just sit on excessive level of wealth with no care to any other sort of soul, human, or anyone behind outside of their family, and everyone else just struggling in all countries. I know in Vietnam, in China, in Japan as well, people are struggling. In China, people are losing jobs left, right, center. They are bachelor's education. They are highly educated student, university student, or even with a PhD. They're sitting on the street. They're homeless. They have to move from bigger cities to the suburban towns or smaller rural areas because there's no chance. Like, capitalism doesn't work anymore because there's no work. Everyone's just fighting for a chance of survival in China, and I get updates daily to see how other countries are doing. Like, it is very bad in Australia, but it's a lot worse, and my heart felt for everyone. In Vietnam, I know that a lot of small business are basically wiped out. Mid-June, they were just announcing, it's been a great journey, we're closing down, we are ceasing business, cease operation, cease trade, and I'm just perplexed. These are brands of decades, of years, of tens of years of like, these are businesses with tens of years of histories. Not just, they weren't just built yesterday, and they couldn't handle this economy. They couldn't handle this pressure from cost of living and the cost of everything. And then now, yeah, they basically close down, go bankrupt, or the likes, and it's just so heartbreaking. I really want to give hope to the people out there, to everyone who's watching, is that it's going to be better, because what goes up will go down and vice versa. I'm sure that people in 2008 or 1962 or whatever era it was, I know that everybody has their own phase of struggles. I do have to say that in the last 5 years, the 21st century wasn't, like, it was good, but it wasn't very good. I feel everyone's struggling, and especially my generation, Gen Z, Gen Z, we're struggling on all front. We have boomers saying we have boomer attacking us on every front, every point, asking for children, not giving out any help, take all the jobs, all the houses, all the properties, giving us nothing to work with. We have technologies, which is great, but not everybody have the same access to technologies, and the education is needed to be able to use them properly. So, I don't know. I don't want it to be like a mopey, sad-ass videos talking about this, but I know what you feel. I know what you feel when you can't have your coffee on the dailies anymore. I have stopped having, the coffee that you go to the shops to get, or like Starbucks and stuff. I've not had them for the last 3.5 years because they are such a treat. I would not pay $7 for a coffee when I know that I can make the same thing for possibly less than 1/10 of it. Probably like 40 cents with my milk, with my coffee. Tastes very good with my cute cups. It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, and I guess that we really have to, practically, we are savings, we're budgeting really well, and we are very conservative in terms of, say, investing or managing our expenses and prioritize. Say, if you have a goal of traveling or buying a car, if it's really not needed, it's gonna get deprioritized, and cut down on the, non-necessities, and try to treasure the moments where you can. Try to have fun when it doesn't cost you money, which is insane. Like, all of this is insane for me to say, but I guess this is the reality. So We do our best, try to find better jobs, try to find any jobs. We support each other. I think in times like this, support means a lot. Whether it's emotional, financial, it's going to help a lot of people in the long term. And we'll see what happens, because it can't be like this forever. We're gonna go doomed. Like, even if the billionaires are here harvesting us and our labor, what will they do without us? What in the Hunger Game? Anyways, I'm sure if you need a rant like myself, feel free to comment down below, and I hope you get your little treat of the day and have a better future forward. Thank you for watching.